Bubble TJ Warren. TJ Warren has had probably the most surprising start of the NBA restart in the NBA bubble. Dude put up 53 points the other night. Uh, could he stay consistent in the playoffs? I doubt it. I see him as another Jeremy Lin. I see him as 10 to 15 to maybe even 20 game spurt for Indiana. And that's not a knock against TJ Warren, but you don't just get traded for cash considerations and then turn into a number one scorer in a matter of a season and a half. Dude's balling. Dude is balling, but you can't ask someone of that kind of nature, that kind of prolific. I wouldn't even say prolific. I would say not known for scoring ability. You can't ask that and expect that every night. To say that, he also averaged 19 in the season, before the restart. So it's not really a surprise. I mean, it's a surprise. It's TJ freaking Warren. But Bubble Warren, I don't expect him to stay. I don't expect him to stick around for playoff time. I don't even think the Pacers will make it out of the first round. And that's a hot take. That is a hot take. So, let's talk about Trap Series. Now, this is off of what I believe will happen, my opinions. So, give me a response, whether it's, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, whatever this goes up on, just give me feedback. Okay. My prediction is Phoenix makes the 8th seed. 7-0 in the bubbles so far. Devin Booker is playing like the best player in the world right now. Put up 35 in back-to-back games. I think they could give LA a shot. I believe LA can go in that series, relieved that they wouldn't be playing the Trailblazers, and maybe overlooking the Suns, maybe just a little bit, and maybe getting two games out of LA. Maybe it'll go 6. Maybe. I think it will. They have every scary part. I mean, they have Booker, they have Ayton, they have Rubio. They have guys that will give LA trouble. No one can guard Booker. Ayton would give AD problems. LeBron will just have a mismatch the whole series. I mean, no one really on Phoenix can, guard LeBron, so they'll have the edge there. And I'm not saying it'll be an upset. No way. No way LA loses in any case to any team that makes the A seed. That's it on the west side. On the east, let's think about this. Toronto. Whoever Toronto plays in the second round is going to be a great series. It'll go 7 games. Whether they end up playing Milwaukee or Boston or Philly, it'll go 7 games. The defending champs will give any team a run for their money. They're definitely not pushovers with Kyle Lowry having one of the best seasons of his career. Spicy P, he's trying to get back-to-back, most improved players. Never been done before, Those are trap series to me, just because, teams will often overlook them. I mean, look at what Toronto did to LA the other night when they beat them by maybe, I think it was like 15. I think they beat them by 15. They beat them down. There was no question about it. LA was not ready for Toronto that night. And like I said, Phoenix, They have one of the best players in the world right now with Bubble Booker. And I'm saying it now, Bubble Booker is the best player to me on the planet. To me, personally. So, now let's shoot over to playoff predictions. Playoff predictions are, once again, in my opinion, my sole opinion. You know, if you disagree, just, give me feedback. I believe LA walks through whoever they play round one. I believe they win. You know, maybe 4 or 5 games, 6 with Phoenix, maybe. Clippers get out of the first round. You got the Nuggets. I believe the Nuggets are the 3 seed right now. The Nuggets playing really good right now, really impressive with their backcourt of Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic. Like, come on now, that is crazy. I expect them to get out of the first round. As far as the 4 seed, I believe the Thunder have the 4 seed right now. That's up in the air because you always have, you know, the playoff questions of Chris Paul. You know, even though he's a point guard, he's up there in age, and you never know what you can get out of him. You know, considering all his blunders in the playoffs recently, as last year. You know, so you kind of throw that up in there. It's kind of a toss-up between them and the 5 seed. Offhand, I don't know who the 5 seed is. Okay, so I was wrong. It's LA, the Lakers, Clippers, Nuggets, Rockets, OKC, Utah, Dallas, and right now Portland is in the 8th seed. Like I said, I got LA, Clippers, Lakers getting out, Nuggets should get out. You know, they should handle the Jazz. Houston, OKC, that's interesting. You know, Westbrook playing his old team, Chris Paul playing his old team. You know. I take it back. I see OKC winning that game. I see OKC winning that series, actually. Yeah, no surprises out of the West in the first round. Second round, it would be LA, Houston, and Clippers, Nuggets. I believe Houston gives LA 5 games. Gentleman sweep by LA. Just too much LeBron AD action. I mean, Houston doesn't even have a center. They have PJ Tucker. That's a mismatch and isn't going to work out for them. Clippers, Nuggets. That's a toss-up. That's really hard. I really like the Nuggets. They're really impressive in the bubble. They've stayed consistent. 6 games, but I can't count Kawhi out. I'll give 6 games to the Clippers, and that's going to lead to the conference finals, where it'll be LA versus LA. I give the edge to the Clippers right now because the offense isn't clicking on the Lakers' end. Not looking too impressive recently, you know. Last in the bubble in offensive efficiency, not looking too sharp. So definitely 7-game series right there. Definitely. Right now, if I had to put money on it today, I'd go with the Clippers. As a Laker fan, that hurts. You know, I'm wearing a LeBron shirt right now, but yeah, Clippers have the edge as of right now. Let's go to the East. We got Milwaukee, Toronto, Boston, Miami, Indiana, Philly, Brooklyn, Orlando. Milwaukee goes through 4-game sweep against Orlando. You know, nothing crazy. Toronto, Brooklyn. I say that goes 5 games just because Brooklyn, you know, they have a little bit of fight in them considering, you know, they lost their best 2 players with KD and Kyrie. I say that goes 5 games. Boston and Philly. This is going to be controversial. Philly gets swept first round. Philly gets swept first round by Boston, and they trade Ben Simmons in the offseason. They blow it up. They give the keys to Embiid, and they let him run the offense. I'll talk more about that later. But yeah, that's my prediction. That's what I think will happen with that series. Then you got Miami and Indiana. Miami, Indiana is probably going to be the best series of the playoffs first round. It's going to be defensive matchup, defensive, breakdown. TJ Warren versus Jimmy Butler. You're going to see it on ESPN every night, all the way to Game 7. Depends on if TJ Warren can, keep up with the hot start he's had to the bubble. I got Indiana. Oladipo's coming back from injury. He's still working his way back. I like Indiana's pieces more than Miami, so I have them in 7 versus the Pacers. So second round, we got Milwaukee versus Indiana. Yeah, Milwaukee versus Indiana. I got Milwaukee in 5. Milwaukee's just too good of a team to be, wasting time with Indiana. No disrespect to Indiana, but man, we're talking about Giannis here. Okay, then we got Toronto. Toronto versus Boston. Can Tatum show up and not be, how we saw him in the first game of the bubble? I got Toronto in 6. in that series. Yeah, you can't count out the defending champs. Can't count them out. They're really good without Kawhi. They're looking really good. Even though they lost him to free agency, they haven't skipped a beat. And it's really impressive. Really, really impressive. Then you got Milwaukee and Toronto in the East, and then you have the Lakers and the Clippers. And I already said the Clippers had the edge in the West. So I'm gonna give it to Milwaukee. Giannis is the best player in that series, and usually if it's a toss-up, you go with the best player in that series. 7 games, definitely. Both conferences will go 7 games. So I believe it'll go 7 games, and I believe Milwaukee will win. And that will lead to Milwaukee versus the Clippers. This is Giannis's moment. This is Giannis's moment to crown himself the best player in the world, the next guy up, the best European player ever. He has that opportunity to show it against Kawhi, Paul George, all the defensive matchups that he has to face. Let's see if he can overcome it. He can get his revenge on Kawhi for Kawhi sending him home last year. And I think he does it. I think Milwaukee beats the Clippers in 6. I don't trust Paul George longevity-wise in the playoffs. He's never made it past the conference finals, and the last time he made it to the conference finals, I believe he was still wearing number 24 for the Pacers. So, yeah. I don't trust playoff P. I don't trust Paul George in the playoffs. And that will crown your Milwaukee Bucks as the 2020 NBA restart / NBA bubble champions. And that is my prediction. I may be wrong, I can't see the future. That is based off my opinion. Now, let's talk about the NBA draft. The NBA draft's coming up, and as you know, this is probably going to be one of the best drafts we've had in a long time. We have probably one of the quote-unquote best European players coming out with LaMelo Ball out of New Zealand. Technically, he's a overseas player, but we all know he's American. I believe LaMelo should go number 1. LaMelo's got the highest upside, the highest, star quality. And I said this with Luka a couple of years ago for people who actually know me outside of internet. I called that Luka should have went number 1, and now look, he's the best player in the. No. Let me stop there. Luka is probably the best player under 22 in the league, definitely, because I believe he's 21. So LaMelo should go number 1. James Wiseman, depends on the team need, could go number 2, but it just depends. Like if Golden State gets the number 2 pick and James Wiseman is there, they'll pick him up. I don't believe he's a good fit in Golden State's system. Yeah, he can shoot threes. Yeah, he's tall. He's finally the centerpiece that they can finally get, but it just doesn't fit the system. You know, they're a small ball team. That's when they're at their best. Instead of having to feed a center in the system constantly, they can usually just, you know, have one of these league minimum guys, you know, just playing defensive all the time. And it makes it easier on Steph and them for spacing reasons. I believe he would be good on... James Wiseman could be a great prospect on the right team. He could be really good on Atlanta with Trae Young. I know they already have the power forward. I forget his name right now. Yeah, they already have him, but I mean, Wiseman can play the 5. He's 7'1", you know, can shoot the ball. He can play pick and roll with Trae Young, and you know, you set building blocks for the future. You know, just, you know, great potential in that, you know, duo. And then you have the guy out of Georgia. Not a big fan because he's a guard. He's an undersized shooting guard. He can shoot the ball. He gives me De'Aaron Fox minus the speed and hustle vibes. Not too impressive on the offensive end. He can shoot, not really prolific at it. No star quality right there. I only see the superstar qualities in LaMelo and James Wiseman. I don't see any craziness going on besides that. But you know, when the media gets a hold of LaMelo's going to go number 1, they're going to take the LeVar, you know, narrative that, you know, look at how your first son did, you know, and spin the narrative. They're going to spin the narrative that LaMelo isn't as hyped up as he should be. He isn't as great as he is, you know. And that's not fair to LaMelo because LaMelo is the best player in this draft. I don't think he'll go number 1. I believe he'll fall to 2, and whoever has the number 1 pick will pick James Wiseman, no matter if they need a center or not. Just because, you know, big guy league syndrome. You know, the Suns took DeAndre Ayton over Luka and Trae Young. You know, one of the best guards. And imagine if the Suns would have paired Luka with Devin Booker. That would be crazy. Or even Trae Young. Imagine if Luka or Trae Young with Devin Booker. Like, that would be amazing. Not quite sure, you know, any other reason to talk about any other guys in the draft so far because, you know, we're a long way from even the draft lottery. So I'm just going to stick to the top 3 guys that I think will go. Just because until we find out who lands where, who has this, you know, just stick with those, and I'll talk about it, you know, next time I talk to y'all on the podcast or whatever I end up calling this. And then you have NBA awards. I believe the NBA should have waited to vote on MVP. I believe they should have included the bubble action because look at how much hype LeBron got before the restart, and who knows how many people actually voted for LeBron. And when we get to the award show, whenever they do it, they're gonna forget that, you know, everybody was on the hype train for LeBron to be the MVP. And now look, you know, it's obviously Giannis's award. DPOY is also going to be honest. Most improved player is probably going to be Brandon Ingram. Coach of the year is probably going to be Toronto's head coach. And sixth man is probably going to be Lou Will. Definitely probably going to be Lou Will. Great. He's going to win it like 10 more times before he retires. That's just Lou Will's, award. So bubble awards. Bubble awards should, first of all, MVP should go to Devin Booker. MVP of the bubble series should go to Devin Booker. He's averaged like 36, 37 through the bubble. His team's 7-0 as I speak. No one even thought Phoenix could have an opportunity to make the playoffs. Now look, they're half a game behind Portland. Most improved player would probably for the bubble series would be TJ Warren. TJ Warren should win most improved for the bubble. Sixth man, Kyle Kuzma. Kyle Kuzma has been showing up for the Lakers recently. I know it's a small sample size. It's only 8 games, but we're just talking about bubbles. He put up 26 and the game winner versus the Nuggets the other night. And he can be the key to the Lakers offense, the spark that they actually need. So that's who I would go with for, sixth man. DPOY would still be Giannis. Giannis is crazy good on the defensive end, crazy good. One of the best superstar players to play defense since Jordan, in my opinion. He's just that great. And then coach of the bubble, Nick Nurse would still win it. Nick Nurse would still win it from Toronto. They're so good. They're so good without Kawhi. It's kind of scary because you look at their team now and you wonder, could they have won the finals without Kawhi last year? And that's just insane. That is insane. So I think that's going to wrap it up. Glad you listened, and give me questions, comments, give me feedback, tell me what I should talk more about, give me positive, negative, controversial, just give me stuff to improve on. This is my first time ever doing this. So thank you, and peace out.